Hey subscribers, welcome to an updated viewing of my collection for 2018. Last year I did a similar video, went for about an hour. All my models were all over the place. This year I've cleaned them up quite a bit, I think. I'm just going to probably break it down into three sections in this video. Firstly, I'm going to have a 3-minute run through of the room for those people who just want to get a quick look at it. At the end of the video I'm going to do a model count and a points value for everything, and in between you probably have about an hour of me droning on just going through the models, so there's something in there for everybody. Anyway, I'll just have a quick look at my table. This is the camera. I'm going to try and get a good look at the models around the room. I'm going to try and use a ring flash there to get really a good look at some of those models, so we don't get a lot of those nasty shadows in those alcoves, and just a couple of bits of extra gear there. I'll come back to my computer in a minute, I'll talk about that. Firstly, a quick 3-minute look around the room. This is my model room. That's all the terrain here, all in there. I used to have the codexes in there, they've all been put into storage. Here are some battle boards that I'll be using. Here, over this side we've got a cabinet. We'll get a good look at those afterwards. Orcs over that side, and Orcs. Quick look at the main room. Oh, there's the pirate ship which hasn't moved. Quick look in here. A table full of stuff. A lot of work being done on that board, on this wall here, which I'll look at afterwards. And around the room, that is what we've got there. Right, these alcoves have been done out. Excuse the glare from the window there. And that is the rest of the room just here. So I don't know if that goes for 3 minutes, but that's the first section of the video. I've got to give my videos a bit of a plug, because the reason I'm doing this is I do battle reports and I'd like people to subscribe and follow those. Don't just watch the collection, try and get on board with the battle reports, because I enjoy doing them, and that's what this is all for. Anyway, the next phase I'm going to move to is a detailed look at all the models. So what I've got in here is I've been trying to itemize it. I don't know if you can see this really well on the laptop, but you know, I've got basically, this is a chaos list that I'm part way through doing, and you know, I've just been itemizing each model, you know, that I've got. So that goes down for a fair way, and I've got different tabs for different factions. But I suppose at the stage of doing this video, I've probably itemised the first 2 bays of that. I think there's 3 bays, or 2.5, but there's about 2,500 models, about 50,000 points worth sitting in that. So I suppose you could do some maths and work out what the room's going to be. I suppose I should say that all the box stuff, the unopened stuff, the unpainted stuff is really not here. I've had to take that out to storage. That's why there's a lot of empty spaces. I think you remember from last year, I don't know if people watched it, but they were all sitting down over here. That's all terrain now, all set for season 6 of the battle reports. Anyway, I'm going to switch over to the other camera now, which should get us a better look at some of those models in detail. Okay, well, here we go. I've spent the last month cleaning this room, spending hours cleaning dust. Dust is my worst enemy. I've cleaned every single shelf, pulled everything apart and put everything back in. So this is the room that I'm going to use all these models, not all of them, but they're going to be used for season 6 of my battles. and that is going to come up in the next month or so. So I've really cleaned out a lot of rubbish out of here and put it back into storage. Probably the main area that I've spent a lot of time in is this wall here, which has now got an extra layer of shelves in between. I've basically added this, you know, these are extra shelves right here that I can actually put in, so that's about as much as I can fit into there. So we'll just have a quick look through the room first before we go through the units individually. So that's the main wall there. I've still got my bits boxes over here. There's a couple of Titans. You'll notice a lot of the top shelves are a bit cleaner. I've taken a lot of projects out of here and put them back in storage. I've still got some of my boards out here. We'll have a look at the other room in a minute. A lot of my terrain is sitting under there now. There's a few units here. There's a bit of a disappointment here with some Imperial Knights. I'll talk about those later. But anyway, we'll move around this side. So all this is fairly similar. Yeah, as you can see, a couple of gaps in the shelves, which I'll talk about in a minute. Yep, all that's just there. That's a quick skim around the room. We've got a cabinet over here, a few units up top there. And we've got a big surprise, which I can't really talk about really at the moment because it's part of Season 6, hiding in those boxes there. We'll talk about that later. And there's a few units just over this side. Okay, right, so that is a real quick skim of that room. And then we've got this room here. Over here we've got my terrain and everything's packed into here. And all the boards are all pretty well laid out, ready to go for Season 6. Still got the pirate ship hiding behind the door. Nothing much there. And we've got basically Orcs over this side of the board, the room. So Orcs around there, and we've got a cabinet over there I'll have a look at in a minute. So that's a real quick skim of the room. Now I'm going to show at the end of this video a points value of what I've come up with, because I've itemised everything in these two rooms. So I'll talk about that in a minute. So that's a quick skim of the room. Now I'm just going to go through and have a quick, more closer look at each of the models here. So what I found here was that the width of the height of these shelves is like too small for a lot of the greater models, so I've had to stack them up the top. So hopefully you can get a good look. I don't want to really pull these shelves out because I know I'm going to drop one, and I just don't want to really do it. Try to hold the camera at the same time. So that is some of the monstrous creatures. We've got some greater demons up the top there. This is really the corn section. In here we've got some cultists that look like a lot of the old Goliath Necromunda models. There's a lot of those. Here we've got some more corn models, some berserkers, terminators. Sorry, I've got the camera down a little bit far there. So there's some terminators over this side, and some berserkers over that side. Can't really get a good look at the guys at the back, but I've tried to keep the good ones at the front. Some hounds of corn there with Karnak at the front. Down here we get into some bloodletters. Now what I've tried to do with all these is keep all the unpainted ones out. I'll get to them in a minute. I've got a few projects that I want to work on in 2018. I'll talk about that in a minute. More bloodletters over that side. And we're into some Space Marines here, some Chaos Marines. So the last video I did of this a year ago, the models were really dusty and dirty, and I had all these broken ones in there, so I've tried to take all those out. We've got a bunch of corn various types of Marines there. Some of them I had to put on their side because obviously they're too high to sit in this shelf, so I've just basically put them on the side like that. Moving down here, we've still got the Khorne section. Some more Hounds. The Forge World Zuffa model. You'll see a bunch of really old different types of Marines, various Chaos units that I've kept in and around here because I really like using those where I can. Then I get to the middle and I can get this section here is a little bit wide, taller, so I can actually fit some larger units in there. So that there's a bunch of bikers. Some of these need to be restored, but the idea here is that so most of these I should be able to use in my next season of videos. Moving down here, we've got Blood Slaughter at the back there, various different types of Marines. Excuse the shakiness of the camera, it's pretty hard to try and hold this at the same time as doing all this. Moving down here, we've got some more units of Berserkers. More Berserkers down here. Just you can see, you can't quite see right up the back there, but you can see the main units at the front here. There's some Furies down here. Got some Obliterators over the corner, quite a few Obliterators up the back there. And I've got this Chaos Space Wolves type of project that's on the go. I'll show you that just in a minute. And then these are some of the Chaos Mutants, which is, I painted those up a couple of years ago, which I enjoyed thoroughly. As you probably know, I love Chaos. When I was doing the item counts, I found out how many Chaos units I've got, and yep, they're the leaders. I've got plenty of Chaos, and down the bottom there you can probably see a few units in there. So what I've got down here is I dragged all the old units that I wanted to do projects on, so I put them all in these tubs. So for example, this is a Chaos Mutant project that I've got in there, which you can probably see through the plastic there. They're all basically different types of mutants which are in various forms of painting. I'll put those together. We've got more mutants here, Chaos Mutants project. So in here we've got, what's that? Raptors and warp talons. Khorne Demon project. So these are basically projects that eventually I'll get onto. I mean, there's quite a lot in this room and I won't do them all this year, but that's what I'm trying to do. So last year, in the last year's video, I had those units probably out on the shelves, and this year I've basically stuffed them down the bottom here in these little plastic containers. Eventually I'll get to that. So that is the first bay, call it a bay, column of the wall there. So a lot of this is Chaos units. We might as well just keep going. We're just going to get a quick look at each column. So hopefully you don't get too much glare off the back of that unit there. But you can see Joe Hercules up the front there. For anyone who watched season 5, he's one of the characters that was prominent in that. So there's different forms of Chaos units up the top there. In here we've got a poorly painted Abaddon the Despiler with a bunch of cultists. I already started off trying to keep things in factions, but it just got too hard in the end. Just had to fit things where they actually fitted. So moving around here, we've got different units. Got a Chaos Spawn hiding up the back there. Different. There's some Terminators over this side. down into some zombies. As you probably know, zombies I love zombies. I know they're not really necessarily part of the 40k universe. I suppose they are various types, but I like them. So there's some more zombies here. More down here. Lots of different types. So they're definitely going to get a run in Season 6. I'm going to use them quite a lot. So in this video you're going to see a lot of references to my other videos, my stop motion battle reports. Hopefully everyone can tune into that and subscribe, because I love making them. Anyway, so down here into the monstrous creature section, we've got some old, and you can see some of them have got quite a lot of dust on them. You know, some of these are older models, and I really didn't have the time to clean them up. Again, it took me a month to really prepare all this. Probably needs a lot more time to restore a lot of them. Moving down here, we get into some Nurgle. We've got a greater demon, Forge World greater demon, a few demon princes. I've got some stats. You know, I itemised each model, and you know, I said what it was. You know, we've got in this room, we've got over 13,000 models. So, you know, took a while to sort of itemise those, and we're bearing in mind that a lot of these these are pretty much the painted ones at this stage. A lot of the unpainted ones I've taken out and put into storage. So yeah, there's probably a few more units floating around. So here we are into some Nurgle Marines and cultists. Got some plague bearers down here as well. You know, these are some old Space Hulk models, which are pretty reasonably painted, I think, which are nice to use. Again, we've got down here, we've got some rat skins, some gangers, different Necromunda models, old ones, quite like them. Anyway, some modified Nurgle bikers, variety of different types of plague marines. Down the bottom here, we've got some more different assorted chaos models, old poorly painted plague bearers, and then we're into our projects down here. So down here I've got a Slaanesh project, which I really wanted to try and work on something. I don't know what I'm going to do with those just yet. Various bits, boxes. We'll have a quick look through these. Chaos cultists. Excuse me while I just get down the ground. So we've got a Zenich project, which I've got some old horrors in there, which I'm going to try and restore. Demonettes, cultists, and a Slaanesh project. So here's basically just there's more Zenich project, which is lots of different sorts in there. We'll just put that away for a moment. And move up into the third bay. So this is going to take a while. So we're 2 bays into the wall, and then we're going to go around the room. If the camera cuts out at any stage, probably because I've run out of batteries, but we'll keep going anyway, for those who are interested. So moving up into the next bay, we've got a variety of models. We've got some Age of Sigmar warriors, Khorne warriors. We've got some Chaos Lords, Khana Betrayer at the front there. And a lot of these guys with banners, yeah, I've had to put them up in this top section, so they really should be with the rest of their crew, but they sort of can't really fit. Moving down here, we've got a Nurgle army with a frost snow type base. Down here we've got some bikers of that same army. Hopefully there's not too much glare from the camera. Got some Death Shroud Terminators over this side. Fabius in the middle there. Some pretty badly painted Spawn up the back there. But hey, they're Spawn anyway, they're supposed to be like messy and ugly and all that sort of stuff, right? So moving down, we get into more Nurgle Marines. Plague Bearers. Horrors. Lots of different kinds. There's a guy up the side there. Oh yeah, okay. So, what are we up to now? We've got some Nurgle Terminators. I did make a story-based series called the McNessa series. This guy was a guardsman called McNessa. He turned to chaos, etc., etc. I'm keeping him around because one day I'm going to get back into him, into that storyline, because I really enjoy making these small little narratives. So, moving through here. I'm probably going to get pasted this because you can't really see the models right at the back there. They're very hard to see, but you kind of get the idea of what they are. Moving down here, more Terminators. Some old Space Hulk Space Marines, which are really badly painted, which I won't focus too much on those. Probably one of my earliest efforts. More horrors over this side. Moving down here, we've got a variety of Nurgle forces. We've got a couple of old dreadnoughts, a few dreadnoughts, demon princes. They look pretty good, I reckon. Moving down here, we've got is it Epidemius? I don't know how his name's pronounced. A couple of Hellbrutes, different assorted models. We'll carry on. Moving down here, we get into the horrors. So the variety of pink horrors there. Then we get into some Furies down here. Some Zenith Terminators. You'll see some old metal Marines, you know, like Chaos Forces from years ago. So they look pretty good, I reckon. Got to use those in Season 6 at some stage. Chaos Sorcerer there. Moving over this side, we've got some Thousand Suns Space Marines. Different kinds, and then we got some demonettes down the bottom here. Try and get the camera down here. Demonettes, they're old metal Slaanesh fiends, I think they're called. They need to be restored and painted, like a lot of other things in this video. Down here we've got some more demonettes. Different kinds of Slaanesh forces there. Lucius the Eternal over this side. Try and get a good look at him. Got a few different Luciuses of varying paint qualities. Down here we've got some Slaanesh forces, and I don't know what that guy's doing over there. It's probably an empty spot. I just shoved him in there. Down the bottom here, you can see that there, we've got a Steel Legion project. I want to do that probably this year. Steel Legion. I haven't got those really in here, but there's a full-sized army in there ready to be painted out. Another project. Right, so that's half the wall. That is the first half of the wall here. So I'll have a look at the second half of the wall, mosey on around the room, and see how we go. Right, let's start up here. Up the top here, we have a converted giant with a jump pack. He was in the finale for Season 5. And we've got a Fabius Bile there, he was there too. Moving here, we've got some Age of Sigmar stuff and some old demons. I really like using those, and they're going to probably have more of a showing in Season 6. Definitely going to be using those guys. Up the back here, you want to know what they are. Horrors riding unicorns. We'll leave that alone just for a minute. And we've got some various forms of demons through here. Siege demons, horrors. That's just some more horrors over this side. Lots of different horrors. I think they're Wraiths, these guys. I think they're just Age of Sigmar stuff. I don't have a lot to do with Age of Sigmar, but I like using their models because they kind of interrelate a lot, especially on the Chaos side with 40k. So definitely like looking at those. Moving through here, we've got the Slaanesh army. So we've got some Obliterators hiding up the back there, you can probably see. Another Lucius the Eternal. Bunch of Marines. More Marines here, Obliterators, different characters. Then we get down into the Terminators down here. Hopefully you can get a good look at those, probably just the guys at the front. Look pretty good. More Terminators over that side. Over this side here we've got the final part of the Slaanesh army, and these are some probably some Gene Stealer conversions here that probably shouldn't be in amongst this army, but hey, they're sitting there anyway. Moving down here, we've got the rest of, we've got some bikers there, and then we've got some of the monstrous creatures for the army. We've got a bunch of Terminators, some demon princesses or princes. Nicely painted models there. Moving down here, we've got a variety of Chaos demons. Sorry if I'm not being specific on this, I'll just give you a quick look at it because I'll be here all day. It's already going for 20 minutes of this video, and it'll go for an hour again, just if I just run through it like this. We've got the Gene Stealer cults, different kinds there. We've got the Patriarch on the throne. We've got some more. These are the new types that got released probably last year or the year before. Plastic Gene Stealer cults models. These are kind of older ones, older metal cultists from years gone by. Probably favourites of mine, the old cultists. We've got some Gene Stealer types down here, and some Zotes down the bottom. I don't know if anyone remembers those, but we have some Zotes. What have we got there? 8 Zotes. 9. I do have the Zote leaders somewhere, I'll find them in a minute. Gene Stealers down the bottom, Gene Stealers, and down here we've got Gene Stealer Cult Project. Okay, so there's a whole swag of old Gene Stealer cultists in there, the old metal ones, so I'm going to probably do something along the lines of, where is it? Yeah, probably something looking like that. So I'll probably expand that army using those down there. Right, okay, let's keep going. So we've got 2 bays to go. Moving up the top of this one, we've got some Hellbrutes and Terminators, Demon Princes, and we've got Nurgle and Zechian forces there. We get into the Tyranids as well here, Hormagaunts, Gaunts, Termagants, Gene Stealers. Spore mines, a whole heap of spore mines there. Moving down, what else we got? Tyranid warriors we're into, a whole heap of different kinds, mostly plastic there. Then we get down here, we've got more spore mines, some guard there, hive guard, I think they are, tyrant guard, biovores, these gargoyles. I always break those guys, they're just so flimsy, but anyway. They're all sitting there. An old zoanthrope just sitting there. We've got some Ravener swarms, and then we've got some more gaunts of a different type. Carnifex, Carnifexi, Carnifexes, different things. Some Zoanthropes again, Venomthrope at the front there. We've got more, got some Lictors down here. Get a good look at one of these Lictors down here. See, oh, that's no good with that glare. How does that look? See how that goes. It's probably pretty awful camera work. I need something on rails. Pretty hard lugging this camera around. Anyway, down to the bottom of bay 4, or not 4, 2, 3, 4, 5, we've got these are old metal, I can't remember what they were, Seekers or something. They were called something. They're basically termagants, but they had a different name. I can't remember what now. So I've got a lot of those. Pretty good. More basically lesser formed Tyranids and some Ravener swarms, not Ravener swarms, Ripper swarms. And we suddenly get into some Catachans, a couple of different types. Now I have different types because I've painted them at different stages and I've used them for different types of scenarios, so that's probably explains why they look like they do to a degree. Down the bottom here in these boxes we've got basically Catachan projects, so that's just going to expand on that. They're just boxes and boxes full of those guys, which we'll get to at some stage. Right, that's, oh no, we've got one more bay to go. We've done the wall. Keep rolling at that. So up the top here we've got some spawn, and we've got some mounted. We get a good look at him up there. Mounted guardsman on a Slaanesh steed. He's obviously gone to the dark side. And we've got Chaos Fiend there. Moving through here we get into the Imperial Guard. Cadians, lots of Cadians. I'm not going to have too much of a look at those, they're just guardsmen. Dime a dozen, right? Anyway, moving down here. These are the kind of guys that I like. You know, these don't really have any formation, they're just a variety of different assortment of guardsmen. You know, forming various purposes. But I'm going to use them in season 6 coming up, so I'll talk more about them later. So there's more of those guardsmen, and I don't know why some Recruiter sitting over there. You know, they could probably be used as well, but we'll talk about them later. Here's some old Tyranid warriors. Patriarch sitting on the throne. Broodlord, Carnifex. Up the back there you can probably just see him, is a old Catachan walker. Bit hard to see, but I do have the light on the camera there, so you might be able to see him. Down here we've got some Tyranid Shrikes, flying Tyranid warriors basically, and some gargoyles. Some of those are pretty badly painted, but we'll deal with those later. Down here we've got what? Talon Raiders, some priests, what else we got? Some elite Imperial Guard units. Then we get into some Kroot. So we've got different types of Kroot there. And we've got some Fire Warrior spam down there. And when we get down here, we get the poorly painted stuff down the bottom. I don't know why it's in here, I just didn't pack those. Right, sorry about that. The camera just basically stopped, only records 25 minutes or so apparently, so we'll just keep going. We're up to here anyway. Down here we've got Fire Warrior spam, that's what we're up to, and we've got some poorly painted Fire Warriors, some Imperial Guard and things down the bottom. So That's those guys down here in these. We've got Tau projects, so that's just Tau bits and pieces. One day I'll try and put those together, the Fire Warriors there, together with that, restore it into something that's somewhat presentable. And that's the wall, so I'll just stand back and get a good look at this. That is the wall. So that's what we've looked at. 25 odd minutes of going through it. Along the top here we've just got a bunch of chaos monstrous creatures. We've got some Scarbrands, a couple of Defilers, Helldrake, Bloodthirsters, bunch of tanks, a few Lords of Skulls, and a Forge World demon engine of some kind. I can't remember the name. Starts with a K. I think I said that last year. Couldn't remember it either. Anyway, so that's the wall. So moving around the room, this was previously chock-a-block full of different Titans, which I've probably taken those out. So I've really only just got a couple of Titans there. Some Slaanesh Titan there, which is busted at the moment. I've got to fix it up. Some Titans here. Illidan from World of Warcraft. I don't know why. I just thought it'd be making a good graded demon or something to build into one of the seasons. As you probably know, I like using proxies and different crazy stuff every now and again. Some Forge World models there. So moving through, we've got some Toxicrene, Exocrine, some Carnifexes, Hive Tyrants. Just try and get a closer look at all that. There. Moving over this side, we've got more of the same. One of those drop pods that start with T that I can never pronounce. Let's get a close look at that Red Terror there. Painted this one about a year ago. For some reason I like it. Feel free to get stuck into me about my paint jobs. Carnifexes. More Tyranids of different sorts down the bottom there. Moving over this side now. Here you can see the Zote characters, Dominators I think they're called. You can see there's two of them just there. So they are sitting over here, hidden away. We've got some Hyrule at the back there. One, two, a Hive Crone, I believe. Now these guys are going to be some sort of Tyranid conversion with the Genestealer cult army still in progress, and just a Hierophant down the bottom there. Moving across, we've got an assortment of the Chaos Defiler, Demon Princes, some Plague Bearers riding bugs, Plague Drones are they called? Can't remember. Converted Tervigon something. A couple of Chaos units there. There's Horus at the front there. Don't know what he's doing there. Anyway, we've got some Tau Crisis Suit Spam. Different kinds, used for different battles. Another project hasn't been done. Moving over this side, I wanted to do this in 2018. A squat army. There's a squat Titan up the back there, which is just a unit. Obviously not made by Games Workshop, but I really want to use the squats. That's all full of old metal squats. I've made a video regarding the squats. You can have a look at that. I won't pack open that box and have a look through it. Here's some squat pirates. Pretty good units they are. Moving down here, these are all squats. They're not Games Workshop ones, but I still use them from time to time. These are old dwarves that are converted into squats. Then we get over to the more authentic ones over this side. You know, there's a couple of gyrocopters up the back there. These are the old egg marines, whatever you want to call them, Easter eggs. You know, there's a few. They're all pretty much authentic. Those are. Some of those have got Terminator arms on them up the back there, because I had a few that didn't have proper arms, you know, the old squat arms, so they just look like they got Terminator arms. So there you go. These are squat. These are all they're squats, but they're basically Marines with a section in the middle cut out, so they look shorter. So they're perfect for squats. And there's some different types of units just here. Quick look at that. So that's the squats. We'll keep moving on. Down here we've got bikers. Variety of form of squat bikers. And a couple of units up the front there. Some of those are missing parts and I want to restore those as well. There's the old squat astronauts. Astronaut, is it? Sitting up the front there. Moving down the bottom, we've got a bunch of different types of squats. Some of the older ones, I think they're all older ones, I think, from looking at some of the old plastic ones. Some of them kind of ruined as well to a degree. Right, moving up to this side, we've got a couple of monstrous creatures. Looks like we've got some Zechian chariot up the back there. Demon Prince. There's another chariot. I painted that the other day. That guy there. Let's just move him out. I didn't have any light because I've changed computers downstairs, so I had no lighting, so I had to really just guess what I was doing. And I'd used inks in the end because really going to throw some ink on stuff, and it kind of turns out reasonable, I think. So that's basically painted in no light. No good? Anyway, so that's what I did. That was my last project. Now we'll just put this back. Chuck him in there. Okay, moving down here we've got what are these? Not plague hulks, soul grinders. 3 different types of soul grinders and a demon prince at the front. Moving down the bottom here we've got Helldrake, and some of these are old Age of Sigmar models from an undead army, which I really want to use. I've got an undead army that I want to try and build into 40k. I know I'm going to get howled down for the rules and all that sort of stuff, but I want to do that if possible. So I don't know if you get a good look at those or not. I'll try and get a look. Feel sorry about if I'm shaking the camera around. I'm doing my best. Anyway, so that's that side. We'll keep moving around the room. So over here, it used to be full of cobwebs, this section. You know, just used to be not looked after. We've got a variety of tanks up the top here in different forms of painting, so I'll have to restore those. Up the top here we've got some sentinels, commissars. So that's one section over here. Moving over here we've got some 3 Yarriks, and this is part of a drop trooper army. So we'll keep moving down here. We've got some Cadians, I believe. Sorry about that. Anyway, keep moving on. We've got some Word Van Psychers at the front here, and at the side there, and I'm trying to get a picture of these without the glare on it. I kind of need the lighting to get into these dark recesses, but at the same time it's not easy to get it without the glare. So there we go. Moving on, we've got Yeah, we already saw that. I know we saw that one, we haven't seen this one. So this is more of the drop trooper army. Just here. Drop trooper army again. 10. Then we've got you know, some more sentinels at the back there. We've got some rough riders. We've got a drill, Hades drills, a couple of forge weld pieces there. So pretty cool to use. Down the bottom here we get into the Imperial Guard, which I haven't used in a while, to be honest. Imperial Guard, bunch of tanks down the bottom, a couple of sentinels, and projects. What have we got for projects there? Eldar projects down the bottom, Drukhari, and a Wraith Lord hiding down there. So I don't know what I'm going to do with those just yet. Moving over this side, we've got the rest of this army here. 1, 2. We get in some Ogrins and stuff down here. Sentinels, Ogrins. And then we've got some Death Cores down the bottom here. A couple of different types that I've used. And those projects are Harlequins. Bunch of avatars. 3 avatars in that box. Drukhari. So that's that section. Moving around, we've got glare coming out of the window. See how we go here. Right, we've got an Exorcist, bit of Sisters of Battle going on there, Chimeras, Lehman Russ, some tanks. Right, then we get into the Dark Elder project, which was last year's, well, not last year's, it was season 5 final. So this is what the project probably took almost a year to get that going. Various Dark Elder transports, raiders, ravagers, old Talos, pain engines, and we've got some other Dark Elder down here, which we've probably seen a few of those before. Bikers, different types of skiffs, jet fighters, razorwing jet fighters, different paint engines. A couple of these Forge World Tantalus on the bottom there, and I really couldn't work it out. I don't know how. I should look at YouTube or something to find a way to put those guys on bases, because putting those properly on bases really sucks. I've busted them so many times, so I'm just leaving them without their bases. Hellions, Scourges and Hellions, and that's pretty much the Dark Elder. Oh no, we've got more over this side. Here we go, let's have a look at this. So now we're over this side. I'll just try and take that glare away again by looking at this. Tanks along the top. Chimeras, Lehman Russ, the usual drill. We've got some more jet bikes here. Reavers. Witches. With some characters there. Is that one at the front? Lilith, is it? Hesperex. We've got some nasty looking homunculi up the top here with their grotesques, and some clawed fiends. We get down into some rack spam down here, different types of racks. We've got some just into warriors now with some different beasts, more beasts. Couple of Slith down the bottom there, Archon there at the front there. Man, oh man, I'll get that glare. Gonna have to really look at that. Moving down here, we've got warriors, more warriors. Moving down here, I'm trying. It's hard to get in here. It's a bit crammed in this section. We've got some Slith at the front, different court of the Archon, some Mandrakes, and down the bottom we get into the Eldar, which I just had to start putting them somewhere, and we've got some Eldar as well, or Eldari, whatever you want to call them. Moving up to this side, we've got old Mandrakes, warriors, etc, etc. Sorry I can't really get much of a closer look at that, it's just very crammed in this section with the camera, so that'll just have to do. So that is that alcove just in there. So far we've done that wall, moved along that, in and around that alcove, and we're going from there. So moving over here, we've got Thunderhawk. There we've got some Crimson Hunters here. We've got the Mechanicus Hulk, which I've used a lot. It's tiny Mr. Pinhead, I think it is. So you no doubt see him on the net. Hugely talented. Thanks heaps. I get lots of mileage out of all this. So there's a plug for you. Up the top here we've got a jet fighter. I can't remember the name of them. Moving on here, down here we've got an army I painted up using old Necromunda models for the Adeptus Arbitus police force. So we've got, you know, different units there. They're all the old metal type. So I've used these guys before. I reckon they're pretty good. Various units of Adeptus Arbitus. We've got the Salamanders. I'm really not going to get a chance to zoom too far into those down the bottom there. Salamanders down here. We've got some Centurion up the back. A Rhino there. Moving over this side, we've got more Salamanders. We've got Vulcan or something, whatever he's called, up the back there. Don't know. Here's the tanks for the Genestealer Cultists. 1, 2, we've got a drop pod for the Salamanders there as well. A couple of tanks hiding up the back there, a bit hard to see. And that thing, I don't know why I keep it. I mean, I'll keep it because it was given to me, so I'll use it from time to time. Right, now, so we're about halfway around the room. Looks like we've got 20, looks like we've been going for about half an hour, probably a little bit more, so we'll keep battling through it. So along the top here we've got tanks. I'll just have a quick squeeze at those. That's tanks, Lehman Russes, Imperial Guard mainly. This is you know, the Zeppelin, the Imperial Guard Valkyrie Zeppelin conversions, and there's, you know, different sorts there. We'll try and get a good close look at one of these guardsmen here in a sec. I don't know if you can see any of those. A bit hard to see them. But, you know, down here we've got some Sentinels, Chimeras, Lehman Russ, etc, etc. We've got some Iron Warriors over this side. We've got some Warp Smithies at the front. We've got Valkyries there. Here, now, I probably should explain some of this stuff. Part of Season 6, people probably might not like where I'm going with this, but it's going to have an element of it which sort of doesn't have guns so much. Now, I know these guys got bows and arrows. These guys aren't going to be used in Season 6, but I'm going to use these guys eventually in some sort of project that I want to do. So they're not Games Workshop, but anyway, I'll talk about that later. So there's some more on that army. These are old Dungeons and Dragons characters, which I want to use for some project later on. And the rest of that army. Moving over this side, try and get this going. That is the Iron Warriors. Get a good look at those guys. Moving up here, we've got Lunar Wolves. Lunar Wolf section. So I haven't really used those guys yet in my battles, but we'll see how we go. And more Lunar Wolves up the top there. We'll move across over this side a little bit. Bear with me. Okay, what have we got here? We've got, this is elements of the Lunar Wolves again. Try and get a good look at some of these guys. Yeah, I probably need to do a bit of lighting, some LEDs or something inside these alcoves, but this is what you're going to get today. Then we got the Blood Ravens down here, which I've used a few times. You wouldn't believe it though, like of all my videos, I made this video with the Blood Ravens. If you ask me, it's really, really ordinary. But it's like got the third most views on my channel. And I don't know, what I suppose the Blood Ravens have a great appeal, I suppose. But yeah, my video was pretty ordinary, but still seems to get a few views. Relative to my channel anyway. More Blood Ravens down the bottom there. Moving over this side, we get into the Custodies. I've had to stack some tanks up the side there. We've got the Emperor, a couple of Emperors at the front. And we've got some Terminators, different sorts there. Moving up, we've got some more Custodies, different sorts. Blood Ravens, the Minotaurs, a couple of Forge World guys in the middle there, which, you know, the Minotaurs characters, so they're in there. We've got some Custodies here, different kinds, Terminators, Land Speeders, drop pods, etc, etc. Okay, moving up the top here, we've got the Legion of the Damned. We've got a nice Legion of the Damned army. You know, a bunch of Terminators up the front. Lots of different ones there. And that's the rest of the Legion of the Damned. So up the top here we've got Gargant, converted AT-AT Walker, the back end of a Tyranid Dominatrix I use it as. A bit of a Stormlord up the back there, a bit hard to see it up the top there. It's about as good as you're going to get. Moving into here, excuse the light in the background, it's got a mirror on the back of that, so I'll try and come in from the side here. Well, firstly we've got the Banelord. Banelord? Big, this is from Greece, Titan Manufactorum I think it is. Very nice model, don't really use it very often, but packs a punch. Moving up this side we've got the Necrons. So we've got some Pariahs in there. We've got Transcendent, Monoliths, you know, more Monoliths, you know, some Praetorian Guard at the front, Spiders, etc. Gee, that's hard to see with that light on the back. I might just see if I can turn that light off. No, is that any better? We'll see how we go. Getting down to the next section. We've got the Vault. We've got Scarabs, Necron Lord, lots of Necron Warriors, Destroyers, Ghost Arcs, Wraiths, Lord, Spiders, not Spiders, can't remember, Gee, I'm not really doing good justice to this. I should really pull it out, but I just, you know, it'll take too long to do. Warriors, Ghost Arcs, etc. Right, okay. We'll try and get into the bottom here. These are the Black Templars. So you can get a good look at that through the glass there. It's really not easy to see with that reflection on there. Apologise for that. Maybe I'll just come from the other side, maybe. Don't know if that's any better. So these are different types of Black Templars, Sword Brethren, you know, Marines, Terminators, variety of tanks. You know, there's more there. I'm not really going to focus too much on the Black Templars at this stage. Down here we've got a Black Templar command tank, the Orca. That's the Flesh Titan I used. I caught it in season 5. And a monolith down there. Right, so I'm going to try and turn that light back on and we'll move over here a bit. So now we get into the White Scars. So down here we've got White Scars army with an assortment of bikes and foot troopers. We've got the leader there, Kasaro Khan, Tech Marine, more bikes, Dreadnought, a few different bits and pieces, and then we've got some more White Scars spammed down the bottom with bikes. Don't know how many bikes, about 30 odd bikes or something like that in there. That's enough. Anyway, White Scars, that's what you got there. Right, moving around the board, around the room, we're probably over halfway now, so we'll keep going. Here we've got Blood Angels. We've got tanks along the top. Up here we've got a variety of different types of Marines, some Terminators. Marines and Terminators. There's a Mephiston at the front. Get a bit of a look at him. See if I can focus on him. We've got Sanguinary Guard. I've had to pack a lot of those guys away because they were kind of a bit broken and need to be cleaned up, so they're probably put in storage. Terminators, different types of Marines there. Storm Raven. Down here into the Death Company, and I've got the Alpha Legion hiding down the bottom here. So I'll just put them down there. Down the bottom here we've got, what have we got? Land Speeders, Marine Bikers, Space Marines, a bit of a Space Marines project. Moving on the other side we've got Dark Angels box and a couple of Space Marine projects there. Moving up this side we've got Hellbrutes, Demon Prince, more of the Alpha Legion, and we've got some Demon Prince with wings and a couple of Chaos tanks there. Moving up this side we've got the rest of the Blood Angels army, Storm Raven, plus a bunch of other dudes. Death Company, mainly with jetpacks, ready to take people on. We get back up into here, we've got the rest of the Blood Angels, a couple of characters, a few dreadnoughts, and likewise that's the rest of it up the top there. So that is the Blood Angels and Alpha Legion, just sitting in that bay just there. Well, there we go. The camera just turned off again after recording too much, so we'll move on to the next section. We have more tanks along the top, and we're into the tower. So we've got an assortment of Kroot here. You'll have to excuse the wind outside. It's blowing a gale here, and it's really, I don't know if it's really translating to the audio on this, but we'll see how it goes. Moving over this side, we've got more Kroot, a couple of stealth suits, a few hounds up the side. Here we've got Kroot and a Riptide. Kroot, Shadow Sun, a couple of dudes at the front. Moving here we've got Riptides, Storm Surge, Riptides, Crisis Suits, etc. Got a couple of missile Sky Ray things down the bottom there. I'll try and just move down here, see how we go. We've got some Crisis Suits in the corner as well. We've got a Defiler type Brass Scorpion, and then we've got some Chaos tanks there. We've got another Soul Grinder down the bottom there. Lots of Nurgle tanks, Land Raiders, Rhinos, etc. Down the bottom here in the projects we've got, looks like Chaos, Chaos Marines, Nurgle. So there's boxes of Nurgle, so that's something for me to work on at some stage. So that is that section, that is Tau and Nurgle, basically there. So moving around the room, I'd love to open this, but I really can't today. I've got to really get it prepared, so it's going to be another month or two before I get to show that. Over this side we've got tanks, we've got mainly Sisters of Battle stuff. We get into here, we've got Vostroyans, Rogel Dawn at the front. Here's some guys that look familiar for anyone who's been watching the channel. Joe Hercules, Stimpack Sam, Mitch Devlin and Mod Boy Mike. These are the characters of Season 5 of my stop motion battle reports. You know, I've got to have some new characters, which I'm going to do a video probably next week of. So I'll show you that. That'll be the characters for Season 6. I won't give any spoilers in this movie tonight. So here we've got some more Vostroyans, heavy weapons platforms, guardsmen, Imperial Fists, Imperial Knight. There's some various gangers around here, so there's Last Chances, and there's some Escher gangers up the back there, and just some assorted units there. I might just, oh look, I can't keep a secret. These are the guys who are going to be the characters for the next season. I'm not going to show them too much because I'm doing a separate video afterwards, so I'll talk about that afterwards. Here is some more Imperial Guard, Imperial Fists I should say. Then we've got Praetorians, Sentinels, some Rough Riders. Moving over this side we've got Praetorians. Down the bottom here we've got Sons of Medusa. So you can get a bit of a look at that. And down the bottom here we've got a variety of marine projects. Terminators, Red Scorpions, Blood Angels, Praetorians and Vostroyans are all in there. So they're different projects. So moving around the room, we've got more Imperial Guard tanks along the top. Just try and zoom into these. These are the Sisters of Battle and the various Inquisition forces I've got. So we'll just go through these cubes one at a time. 1 and 2 and 3. Moving to the bottom here we get into the Grey Knights section. Grey Knight Terminators. And more Inquisitors, things like that. Got some Sisters of Silence over here, various Inquisition forces. And the bottom we've got more of the same. More Sisters. Grey Knights, a couple of Forge World things at the bottom there. Sorry if I'm skipping over this, you might have to pause the video to have a bit more of a look at it. But, you know, it's starting to be a bit of a hassle to hold this camera up for long periods of time. I should take a break, shouldn't I, and skip it, but, you know, just a bit pressed for time today. Up the top over this side, we've got some Space Wolves, assorted Space Wolves on mounts and various wolves. Got a Stormfang gunship. Down here we've got getting to the World Eater's army with Angron at the front, a bunch of Terminators at the back, some bikers. Moving down here there's a lot of blood-soaked World Eaters. These guys are in a battle in the end of season 4, I think. Another one of the more popular videos on my channel. So it's a pretty good army, I would think. There's a couple of different units for the World Eaters. That's the Arvis Lighter, which was the transport for Inquisitor Yars at various stages in season 4, I believe. Storm Raven and Dreadclaw Drop Pod, Land Raider. And down the bottom here we've got the Space Wolves. So we've got different varieties of Space Wolves here. Infantry, some older, some newer. So sorry if I just skim past these. I might just have a closer look at some of them. So there's some Terminators there on this side. And just some variety of Marines, etc. over that side. That is more. There are more Terminators. Variety of close quarter combat Marines, Blood Claws, I think they're called. Over this side we've got a number of other Terminators and older type models. There's a whole heap of Custodies down here that I want to put together, and I've got a lot of old Sisters of Silence metal models which I want to try and put together at some stage, but that's enough projects for now. Right, so far we have done that. We've walked around the room, gone over the top there, through that alcove, round that, we've skipped the TV, moving out that side, checked the cabinet, moved around there, through that alcove, and now we're out into here. So we've done most of the room, we'll just keep battling on. Right, we may as well go along the top first. Up here we've got a nice tank for the Inquisition. Now I think, look, I'm not really sure, but I think that's another project that came with the Hulk from over there. I think that might be a tiny pinhead job. So if it's not, then please pull me up, and but I can't take credit for that. That's a great model, that one, absolutely brilliant. So anyway, moving on. I've got a variety of different units, vehicles, Riptides. I couldn't really put them all together in their factions, so that's pretty much that. And then we've got a Forge World Ululator, I think, very nasty weapon. I think I used that in season 4 as well, so check my battles out if you want to see these in action. Over here we've got some Mechanicus Skitarii, different types of Skitarii, Dunecrawler at the back, and a few other bipedal units. Down here we've got some robots and some data smiths and various tech priests, some Forge World, some not. Likewise, some of these robots are the Forge World variant and some are not, just the Games Workshop. Up here we've got some Forge Worlds Mirrodin Secutors, excuse my pronunciation, or if I've got the wrong units, but there's a bunch up the back there. They're pretty strong. We've got a bunch of more Forge World units in the middle, and we've got these old Mechanicus units. I don't know, I think it was called the Scars. Is it Skulls? Skulls unit. There's like 10 of them. I'd have to check, but they've got a name to them, and they're pretty nice characters. These guys here, I just picked them up. They're not Games Workshop at all, and probably don't really have a place here, but they kind of fit with the aesthetic. Up here we've got another different paint scheme on the Mechanicum. So there's some nice units in there. That's a bit of a look at that. I'll just move down here. Oh no, I've already done that. Sorry. In here we've got some Electro Priests up the back there. Different ranges and infiltrators, etc. Lots of Skitari. Here we've got a Corvus aircraft, and we've got some Death Watch, which I haven't really used too much in my battles yet, but I'll do at some stage. Moving on, we're into the Aeldari. Who are the blue and yellow guys again? It slipped my mind. It's an couple of old models there. Moving down here, we've got Guardians, Wraith Guard, Wraith Lord, different units. We've got some Revilers up here and some Scions. Down here we've got some more Rangers, Guardians, some Howling Banshees. Up here we've got some Striking Scorpions and a bunch of Assassins. Here we've got some Dire Avengers. We've got some of the old what I use as an Exodite army up the front there. Mainly just Age of Sigmar elf characters converted. Up here we start moving into the Red Scorpions. And then down here I've painted up some of these tactical positions, these markers, like that little shrine there. Painted that the other day, just for a bit of fun. And then over here we've got some old zombies and skeletons, which I really want to use just as basically people and storyline fillers for my Season 6. Up here there is the Relic, which was one of the stars of Season 5, and the rest of the Red Scorpion army. Moving over here, we've got a Skull Cannon over the back there. We've got a bunch of Harlequins in here, old metal ones. Some custom, it's all on a board. Very nice models in that. Moving in here, can't really get a good look at this, but this is just basically Ultramarine spam. Some poorly painted, some not. You can't really get a real good look at it at all, but I don't want to pull it all out. That is basically the Ultramarines. I haven't had a chance to fix up all these planes after the cats got stuck into them, so some of them are busted, but I'll have to clean them up at some stage. That's project number 1001. Stuffed in here, we've got a whole swag of tanks, mainly Ultramarine stuff. Some painting projects that I haven't really done a lot on, so they're kind of hiding in there. Right, okay, we've got another section down the bottom over here, so I'll keep running through this. We've got some Siam ham, I can't say it. I want some ham, that's what it is. We've got some Eldar jet bikes, a Wraith Knight at the back there, Spirits here at the front. These guys will get a bit of a showing in Season 6. There's some Hornets at the back there as well, you can see. One at the front, 3 Hornets. In here we've got Fire Dragon spam. Lots of Fire Dragons, Wraith Knight, Wraith Lord I should say, an Avatar at the back, a few bits and pieces. Down the bottom here we've got Falcons, Crimson Hunter, Wraith Lords. Over here a few Fire Prism and Falcons basically. In here we've got another Wraith Knight, a Lynx with Pulsar, Falcon, and some Spirits, Spectres? Not really sure they are. The Farseer at the front, I use him quite a lot for the Eldar, because you've always got to have the Eldar coming in, or I should say Eldari. It's easy to say Eldar. Have them come in and just do some mysterious comment and, you know, just to build the storyline. It's always good to have those guys. Right, we've got some Corsairs here, the Wasp, and some Forge World Corsairs over there. Over this side we've got part of the Exodite army with an Avatar at the front. We've got a lot of Cold Ones with some Eldari mounted on them, which are used as the Exodites. And we've got more. That's the final part of the Eldar army. So moving across, we've got the Baneblade and a few Chaos converted tanks. I use that for my Chaos Renegade army. Bit of a gun emplacement there. That is Deathwing company with lots of Terminators and Dreadnoughts. So I like those guys. There is the Dark Angels. Some of those guys aren't painted so well, so I try and hide them down the bottom of the room. Down the bottom here, let's have a look at this for a minute. I'll try and get a good look at this. Excuse the camera work just for a minute while I do this. This is part of the Inquisition army. So here, I'm not going to do this, it's not really good, that's coming out blurry. You know, trying to get, come on, focus, that's better, there you go. It's use him as Eisenhorn, Inquisitor Eisenhorn. So we've got a few in here. I'll just drag a few up to this, to the camera to get a good look at them. I should have done this on probably more units, but it's just difficult to get down and do it. There's probably the main ones in here that, let's just grab one of these Inquisition henchman type characters and have a look at him. Come on, focus, come on, you're almost there. There you go. Bring it on. Right, okay, so that's the Inquisition, part of the Inquisition area. Moving across this section down here, we have a Stormlord down the bottom. Excuse me while I just adjust the camera a little bit. Right, okay. Stormlord, Baneblade, Vindicators, Rhinos, Soul Grinders. Up the back there's a couple of Chaos tanks there for Slaanesh. You guys have seen this before. Some of these units. There is the Emperor in a diorama with a Slaanesh Titan, armor cast Slaanesh Titan looking over his shoulder. Over here we've got the Chaos Baneblade. We've got a Baneblade in the bottom there, and there's a limo in the corner there, which I was going to use for the Chaos the Genestealer Cultists, but they haven't had that luxury just yet. Over this side we've got a few units of Slaanesh tanks. We've got the Forge World Demon, which starts with a Z, which I have no idea, but I used him as a sort of variant for my main character in Season 5. Over this side we've got Defiler, a couple of Rhinos, a couple of Defilers. So that is really that section. So that is all that. So you've had a good look at that. So that's basically this room. Oh no, I've forgotten about this bit in the middle, sorry. Right, this is where I get a little bit depressed, and I'll tell you why. It's because I had 5 of these guys, and I think that someone at some stage, I don't lose anything, I don't throw anything out, I don't break it. Things have been missing from my room. So could have been when I transported those guys out to the model fair when I showed those guys probably a year ago, but might not be as well, I'm not sure. Still not happy because a few of these models are missing a little bit, so I'm going to have to start looking a little bit closer at some of these things. Anyway, I won't worry too much about it, let's move on. So here we've got, you know, Storm Ravens, Storm Talons, Drop Pods, only 2 Imperial Knights. Anyway, yeah, just this is the remainder of the tanks really. In there's a Harridan, a Forge World Harridan. You can see his wings and stuff. He's sort of broken down to bits. Don't use him very often. It's just too bulky. A couple of Valkyries, Storm Raven, and that's just a bit of a prop that I've used in the past. Sort of folds out into some sort of torture chamber sort of thing. So it's pretty good. So anyway, that's what we have for the room for 2018. So that is the full room, all that, all around there. That is 2018. So now we head into the other room. Still haven't finished yet. So this is where I started. So you notice a lot of it's clean along the top, so I've had to pull those across because I'm going to be using these areas and I'm trying to clear the slate for Season 6, like I've said a few times. If I haven't plugged Season 6 enough, just let me know and I'll just might sort of plug it a little bit more. Anyway, so here we go, we've got some Orcs. So we'll run through the Orcs. So what can I say? Orc boys, lots of boys, more boys. So we'll just get to interesting areas. So a lot of these you've seen before, a lot of war bosses there, snotlings. Over here we've got some freebooters, more Orc boys, Storm boys down the bottom, Gretchen spam, unpainted stuff that I've shoveled down the bottom, badly painted stuff I've shoveled down the bottom, more Storm Boys, more Gretchens, and a couple of freebooters at the back. Okay, moving on here. Got these cubes. I'll start at this end. Stomper and looted Baneblade type tank. We've got a mine layer and a few sort of tanks. Stompers, battle wagons, some jet fighters there, Dakar jets I should say, more Stompers, an old battle wagon I've used a few times, you know, so there's a big squiggith there. Down the bottom there's some averagely painted orcs down the bottom there that I'll probably use at some stage. These are all the orc projects down the side here, full to the brim of different types of orcs. There's some goblins and stuff in there, which I like to try and build Age of Sigmar stuff, like I said, into here. I've got a Morkanaut up the top here, different tanks. We've got the Gargantuan Squiggith down the bottom there, which has shown his tusks a few times. Up this side we've got, you know, a few orc tanks there. We've got a sort of converted large Gargantuan Squiggith with some Jawa type Gretchen there, Mechanicus Jawa type conversions. We'll get a good look at those at some stage. Today's really just a skim. It still goes for an hour, this video probably, but we'll look at them in more detail later. Down the bottom here we've got some orcs with some mega knobs up the back there, and there's some more just orcs over there, just different types. Right, that's that section there. Almost finished. Over this side we've got flash kits, Weird Boys, Blood Axe Commandos, a bit of a Dread, and some different types of, you know, there's a Snick right up the back there. I don't know if you can see some of these, but you know, these are basically commandos. You know, so there's a Pain Boy up the side there. Moving here we've got some older type Dreads and Mech Boys and stuff like that. Over time I pick these up and try and restore them and just add a bit more colour to them. Various Dreads and Cans. Dreads and Cans. Goth Boy Spam. Oh man, we've got some more Storm Boys over here. Older type orcs, and down the bottom here we've got some old Gretchen. Got some more orcs down the bottom there. Some various projects here. I put my junk in this section here because I use all my cords and then my iPhone hanging off there and all that sort of stuff, so kind of might slip a model off there and break it. Don't really care because they're orc stuff. Those metal things, they're basically you know, pretty much broken anyway. We've got variety of jets stuffed in there. Boar Boys up the back there, old Boar Boys. We've got some Blood Moon, Bad Moon knobs in Mega Armour, all that there. And that's pretty much that section there. So that's it. Moving over this side, the last cube of the room before I get into the cabinet. With a quick squim of this. We've got some war tracks, things like that. We've got the old school bus up the back here, and an old Beasts Age of Sigmar or Warhammer Fantasy Battle stuff, which I sometimes drag out for various reasons. Crazy orc bike conversions. Okay, my camera just buggered up there for a little bit, so the lights might not work so well. I was up to this group of bikers here, just moving down into these last few parts of the cube. We've got some orc trucks, various Orc boys, Defcopters, Grots, and their Grot tanks, and there's a Grot mega tank there. Down the bottom we've got some trucks, can't really see in the shadows again, the light's gone cactus. We've got some bikers down the bottom and some Orc boys finish it off. So that's the Orcs in the room there, all that. Oh, there's the pirate ship over here, which I don't know if we got before. Pirate ship, basically Land Raider on the back for anyone who's interested. Thunderhawk in the middle, various assorted parts of, like there's some old Revenant Titan parts there, and various bits and pieces. So that is the Orc pirate ship. The only thing we've got over here now is the Hierophant. I'm trying to get some of this lighting back on. It just comes up really bad. Let's try this. Just a minute. Right. Hierophant. Get a good look at that. Gee, that's poor. Hierophant. In here we've got the Iron Hands. So we've got a mixture of different Iron Hands in there. We've got the Primarch. We've got Land Raider, a couple of Rhinos, and a few different things there. Here's a project from last year, which is the Night Lords, which is basically an assortment of Space Marines and different types of conversions and things, all in the Night Lord theme. So that's the Night Lords there. Oh yeah, and also there's another bay of those down here. More Night Lords, some Demonettes at the front, Night Haunter up the top there, various parts of the Night Lord army. Moving down here we've got the, oh that's bad, sorry about that. We've got the Warhound Titan at the front. We've got I think it's Nagash from Age of Sigmar. I know it's not 40k, but I'm going to try and get some zombie action going in the season 6, so he might try and make an appearance. Up the back here we've got Revenant Titan and a Helldrake Storm Talon conversion just there. Down the bottom here we've got, final part is an Inquisition army, Space Marine army. So I'll try and get that lighting again going, alright. So yeah, look, I'm sorry you can't get a real good look at those. It's just that the lighting's probably not so good. But that's an Inquisition Space Marine army. There we go, we got through most of it. That is my entire collection that I have out for Season 6. A lot of it's still in storage, but that's what we have. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again soon.